a window come up asking you for permission to record. So you might need to say yes if you can. This is for the benefit of loading onto the classroom, so that if somebody misses a session, they can they can review it on their own without being with the class, just to be on the safe side. All right, so continue along, Mikkel. Um, so we have Lejean. Hi, Lejean.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, good
I
afternoon.
am Marella Lejean. I am pursuing social work as my degree. I'm in my third year, third and final year, thank God.
Uh,
Um, I have no background in economics. I did no business subjects. Haven't
okay,
ever.
never ever. Okay, all
Never
right.
ever. What's interesting about me? Well, I work in early childhood education.
Okay,
So I'm at my wits' end right now with the teaching online, but
okay,
I'm pulling through just like I expect to pull through with this course.
all right. So maybe we could, what you see happening in this class might help you classes as well. So maybe there's some learning outside of the academic aspect, and just in terms of techniques and stuff that we're doing that might be adjustable for children at that age.
That's right.
All
Thank you.
right.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So and feel free to ask questions in that nature if you want. When relevant, if you might get ideas from the group that might be able to say, hey, try this or try that kind of stuff. And this worked for my child, something along those lines, because I know we're all struggling with the change in the environment, and dealing with the issues that are coming up as a result. All right, so I have a name here, and I'm sure I'm going to butcher it. So it's Sharon Boziak.
Yeah, Sharon Boziak.
That's correct? Okay.
Yeah,
Hi, Sharon.
I
What program are you with and that kind of stuff?
okay. So my major is social work, and I'm
Uh-huh.
in my second year, I believe. Yeah, and I did POB in Form 5, and that's about it. No other background in economics. And one interesting about me is I like to sing and dance. So yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Sing and dance. Do you do it professionally or do you just do it in the bedroom?
I rather sing in church. I'm a worship leader, but dancing, I just do it like occasionally with the youth group.
Okay, so that sounds good. Do you teach or um, dance and
Um,
stuff like that? But
nah, I don't think I had the choreographing thing, but I could follow.
all right, that's nice. Thank you very much, Sharon.
Yeah.
All right, I believe it's Shayna Linton. Hello, Shayna Linton. All right, let's come back to her. She seems to be. Hi, Shayna. Could you unmute and do a little introduction for us? Oh, your mic isn't working. All right. So I'll read your responses. I guess what program are you with? What program are you doing? Psychology. How far in are you? Hello? First day. You started in January. Whoa. Do you have any background in economics? Either yes or no, just to make it faster. Nope. All right. So struggle. Question. What's the problem with your microphone? Is it that is not hooking on? because I know initially some people had problems. They'd have to go in and if you're using a laptop, you'd have to. All right, so if you're on a laptop, what you probably need to do is go in and give it permission from your settings. Some of the IT guys here might be able to give you some advice, but generally what I've found is that you'd have to give the program permission to access in your microphone settings. All right, that might help. Okay, so while we're waiting on you, let me speak to Sonia Donawa.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Sonia. You were broadcasting such a nice image, and now you're gone.
Hello. I'm
there you are.
As in music education. I should be graduating next year. I've never done economics. I've never done a business class. The irony is I've been running a lot of businesses all my professional life. So I thought now might be a good start to touch on a few of the topics or courses and maybe branch off into it after next year, possibly. Initially, when I logged onto this Google Meet, this is for Shayna, I was not getting access to my mic, and I found that I had to change the browser altogether. So I used Google Chrome, and it automatically worked.
Actually, yes, that's something that we were instructed that the Google stuff has to work in Chrome, or else if you're using Microsoft or any other browser, it's not compatible.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Sonia, you performed in the graduation recently, the last one we had.
Yes, I did.
I think because I'm recognizing you, but that's why I was saying, I looked at your image and I kind of like, hi, Miss Linton, did it work?
Yes, can you hear me?
All right, thank you. All right, so hold on, I was talking to Sonia, so hold a second, let me finish with her. So you're a musician,
music education.
Music education. All right, and I do remember you performing in a couple of the graduations. I remember you singing. All right, that's your primary. It's voice, or do you do an instrument as well?
Yeah, instruments, but my primary instrument is voice.
Well, I must say, having heard you sing before, and I heard you singing one of my favorite songs. That was the song from Imagine.
Yeah. Yes.
John Lennon.
Yes.
One of my favorite artists. I love the Beatles. So that was amazing. Thank you very much for that. So we know a little more about Sonia. And unfortunately, this class is not about running business. That's entrepreneurship you're looking at. But maybe it might give you some ideas.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll give you some ideas. But running a business is not so much about it's about measuring risk. Which when you do entrepreneurship, it's about managing the risk of being in a business environment and knowing when to get out, because sometimes you have to make that decision of when to stop. All right. Thank you very much, Sonia.
Thank you.
Shayna, you wanted to come back in and just say those things again now that you've hooked up?
Hi.
So now we can hear you. So you're a psychology major.
Yes.
And how far in? This is your last year, your first year?
It's my first year. I started in January.
Okay, so this is quite early. Do you have any background at all in economics at all?
No, not even POB. I only did POA.
Oh, well, you did accounts, so that there's a cross relationship there, but we'll see. All right. Okay, so that's nice. Anything interesting about yourself that you want to share? That's the one thing we didn't get from you.
Well, I wanted to do psychology because I want to help people when I grow up, you know.
Yeah, but that's what everybody will say when they join psychology. They don't tell the right thing. The right thing is that you really want to macro people things.
It
All
make
right.
no sense, but I can't do that and not share it with people, but you have to have confidentiality, so it's not the same thing to me.
So they say. I figure you just want to get to know people's business. All right. Oh man, what is it? Okay, so thank you very much. So Badri, Vijay, you need to straighten me out. How do I pronounce that?
It's Badri. Hi, good day, everyone.
The first name,
I
the first name.
It's VG.
Vijay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I am a psych major. This is my third year. However, I only have POB as my only economical background. And in terms of interests, I would say that I only recently started doing kickboxing. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Sounds quite violent.
Well, that's what we'll come into. So yeah.
Ready? You're getting ready for the zombie apocalypse? That's what you're trying to say?
Um, yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Zenora Bash.
Yeah, hello?
Hi, Miss Bash.
Yeah, is actually Nissa.
All right. Well,
I could try and figure out how to change the name on this so you wouldn't get mixed up. But hi, my name is Nissa Baksh. I'm my third year in Costat and doing my bachelor's in psychology. Something interesting about me, I do gymnastics, but I'm too lazy now, so drop that.
you're too lazy.
Yeah, being honest, I get lazy in the past year, so it's still there.
Okay then. All right. Okay. So that was the last person for now. There are 21 of you here, and the the there are, well, what's the word I want to use? Hold on, I'm just trying to work this formatting here. All right. So, how many of you all were able to navigate to the e-classroom? I sent a link out for that. Did everybody get there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So feedback is
Yes,
going to
sir.
be important. All right. So either type a response
Yes,
or
sir.
okay, because the majority of the work that we do, well, all of the work that we're doing is going to be on that site. Okay. Um, but before we get there, we need to start to look at certain things, because we have to organize ourselves for the rest of the semester. So that's what we're going to be dealing with now. So I'm hoping to share my entire screen and move from. All right, are you guys seeing my screen? So you're kind of seeing yourself a little bit.
It says a chain, but it's not chain.
No, not accept.
Yeah.
You getting it now?
Yes.
All right. So you're seeing nothing there, right?
No,
Yep,
not.
you are presenting to everyone.
All right. So what I want to present, well, we still have a few people. Are you all seeing this Excel sheet?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I'm
So
still not seeing it.
Yeah, me too. For
Okay,
some.
I'm seeing it now.
there will be a lag between when I do it and when you get it, based upon your broadband speed. Okay, so
Mhm.
what I need is I need some phone numbers because I want to create a WhatsApp grouping for the class for you to be able to communicate with me faster and without having to go further online. Is that a possibility? I need you all to agree to that if you want.
Yes, it
Totally.
is.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So
no problem.
No problem.
I need some phone numbers. Let's start with that. And then that way I can create the group. I'll have to add you all to my phone and then create the group and and send out. That way, I'll be able to message you all immediately in one grouping. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right. So unfortunately, Mr. Alexander, you are up first. Have a number there for me?
Hello.
Hi, Alexander.
Can I type it somewhere for you?
Well, I'm actually.
Or I'm gonna just call it out. I'll call it out.
Yeah, just call it out. Sorry, just knock it.
341. 7946.
46. Right. I know. I know it's a bit of a confidentiality issue here, but I'm trusting that everybody here is going to be sensitive to the fact that some of the stuff we're doing here is going to be confidential. All right. And you know, keep it within the realm of the classroom. Okay. All right, Mr. Badri. Vijay. All right, Nissa, you want to give me yours?
Yeah, 360 9726.
All right. Robin Bash, she's not here. Rosiak.
765
Uh-huh.
7866. Yeah.
All right. Miss Miller.
498
498
0072.
Okay. Culture.
Some of them typed their numbers.
Oh, they did.
Check my number already, sir.
I can't see my chat.
Type it in the chat. Come here. 776-2493.
776-2493.
Yeah.
Diabro.
749-4516.
All right. Sonia.
464 5851.
Okay. Gibson isn't here. Maloney isn't here. Or Melanie, I should say. Kalitran.
328.
328.
2320.
All right. Linton. Shana. Shana. Okay.
Latrice.
Latrice.
391 3290.
391 32
90.
90. Okay. Paul.
470
470
3816.
Okay. Peters.
363 3883.
Raghunath.
740-0682.
Okay. Reeves.
330 5075.
Okay. Sami.
467
Uh,
7579.
7579.
Yeah.
Simangal.
323 4329.
Okay.
280
Two,
062.
06
62.
662. All right. Okay. Springer.
327 76 46
right? Steele isn't here. Thomas,
365,
uh-huh.
3130.
3130.
Yes.
And
Leisure.
Lajar,
714-5711.
okay.
Sir, this is
Yeah,
Shayna.
Shayna came back on.
My
Shader,
Wi-Fi dropped on me. My
okay.
number 769
769.
6828.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna get things like that. Yeah, hold on. Let me just file save as this. So unfortunately, you'll be getting very good looks into my laptop and how it's arranged, and um, all right. So there's that. So I also sent you guys out this. This is the. Are you seeing the Word document now?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the
Yeah.
class schedule that I sent to you guys. So hopefully you all have it available. And I did include in that class my phone contact as well for voice calls and WhatsApp. Okay. And my email addresses. And this is for communication purposes. And I've given you all three simply because sometimes Costat sites goes down. So therefore I wanted a backup, especially if we're running with any problems with the e-classroom going down and you have to send assignments and stuff like that. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about with you guys was how comfortable are you all with the meeting time starting at 5 o'clock, or would you prefer that we start our meeting a little later? Because I know some people now coming in from work, some people at work, and that kind of stuff. So, talk to me about those things.
So I would like to find out if it's starting later, would that mean that it will be finishing later also?
Well, not necessarily, because today's is kind of freewheeling, but we can we don't necessarily have to do a 3 hour session. The sessions are really going to be dependent on the amount of material that we're looking at. So sometimes the material might be a lot, like today is a fair amount. Not so much in terms of things that we have to learn, but in things we have to put in place so that we could finish the entire semester. That makes sense?
Okay,
So
and also with reference to the Google Meet, for some reason I can't get onto Google Meet on my laptop. So I don't know if you could send me the
what browser are you using?
I try using Google Chrome and
Right. So
it's still not getting. Whole day I've been trying to get onto this Google Meet. So I don't know if I could probably use the
it would
Zoom.
not have been available. It would not have been available until this evening. Yeah. I had to start the meeting for you to be able to join it.
Okay, but
So,
even to access Google Meet, I was unable to do so. So I don't
right.
know
So the
if I
only
could
way that you're
probably.
going to be able to access it is through your login at your student email.
Email.
Okay, I tried that this afternoon also, and it was saying something with the browser. So I don't know if I could probably use the Zoom, and if you
Well,
could probably send me the
you can't.
ID.
I can't use Zoom and Meet at the same time. I have to use
Okay.
one piece of software at a time. Now, the reason why I'm using, and I spoke about this earlier, the reason why I'm using Meet is that the college has license to use this. Zoom, they don't have enough license for all lecturers to use. And
Okay.
if I use my personal Zoom meeting, the meetings will be limited to 30 minutes, and that may not be enough time for us to deal with what we're doing. That makes sense, Ms. Pierce?
Okay, understood. I'll try to rectify it by next week though.
Well, do we have a meeting for next week? I don't think so.
Oh, okay, okay. Well,
You have to
when
check your,
next,
you have to check your schedule, right? So, although nothing is cast in stone at this point in time. All right.
okay.
So, my first thing was, how are you all with the 5 o'clock start time? Let's get some. I know some people are okay, but we need to kind of understand that for some people, with everybody at home, it creates some problems when there's all that activity. So I'm not sure if you all could tell me how you feel about it. Do you want to delay the start to maybe what, half 5, 6 o'clock,
Half
so that
five will
people
be
get.
great because I finish work at 5 until the time I reach home. It's like 5:45.
All right, so that's one person. How about others?
Hi, good evening. Well,
Hi.
I'm normally at work from 3 in the afternoon to 11 in the night. So the time really doesn't matter with me. It's just where I'm located. Sometimes I might not get reliable internet service.
Uh-huh.
Or according to what is going on, I might not be able to participate. I might be able to listen in, but I might not be able to participate according to what I might have to be doing. Because it's normally my work time from
Yeah,
3 in
that
the
makes
afternoon
sense.
to 11 in the night.
Okay. Um, okay, well, so if I delay start to about half 5, then that might help some people.
Yes.
All right. All right. As I
So
said
one
before,
question, sir.
yes.
All the sessions will be recorded, right?
Well, that's the plan. The plan is to record the teaching sessions in particular, so that whatever information is um is passed on during the session, you can log back in and look at the presentation. The drawback with that, however, is that you lose the opportunity to ask questions for clarification.
Understood.
All right, but it's still an option for you to be able to utilize that to be going on. So in terms of the meeting times, if we shift it to half 5, that might help people, get settled and whatnot. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. So I'll in the future I will set the meeting time to begin from half 5, because it took a little while for people to log in and get themselves ready and that kind of stuff. So we'll see what's going on with that. All right. So you'd see in the course schedule that I've identified some office hours Monday to Thursday from 1 to 4. So the idea is that I'll be available via Zoom or Meet or via WhatsApp for that matter, for us to discuss any issues you might want to. So you could send me a WhatsApp, and that's the whole point of the WhatsApp grouping thing. So you could send me either a private request that you want to talk to me about something in relation to something with class, or if there's some sort of personal development that is preventing you from having the ability to deal with, or you're dealing with some content issues. So we'll see how that works out. So your communications with me should be through your student email, and not your private emails, because what's happening is that we are getting a little buffing from the administration that it's harder to manage student activities if we don't use the channels that are provided for. So everybody's seeing the course outline, right? Okay, so these are everybody's seeing the schedules here that I started. So today is an online session, all right? The next session was carded for the 12th of October. So what you do is you'll deal with the Unit 1 and Unit 2. Well, yeah. And the next session is carded for October. So the way the units are designed is that a block will be set up with the unit in it, with all the unit activities and the unit information. So more than likely what you'd see there is a PowerPoint presentation going through the material from the course outline, and that will be me trying to build some presentations for you And I'll also link in the readings from the textbook and this thing, maybe some online videos for you to look at in relation to the content that we're looking at for this. All right. So, and then at the end of that, you would see a quiz that will open up at a particular date and then close by a certain date. All right. So there's a schedule down here where everybody's seeing this, right? Where I've identified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
Where I've
it, but I have a
identified.
question, sir. I have a
Yes,
question.
sir.
Would you
Go
be
ahead.
like sending out an email or a notification or something to alert us that there is a quiz? That we
Well,
have to do?
the quiz will be in the same block, so that the quiz date will open. Yeah, I could probably send out a notification. That's why I want the WhatsApp group to be there so that I could send guys. Remember the quiz is open and closes by this time and so on. So quiz one is I've set all up. I'm going to set all up. I should say I haven't built all the quizzes yet. I'm going to set the quizzes up all for 20 minutes. It's 10 questions, multiple choice and format, but you're going to get 2 opportunities to do it. The reason why is I figured, you'll be able to go through the material, go through the quiz once, see if you think you look at what the questions are asking you. If you don't quite get it, that means you get an opportunity to review the material and then come back again. Now, the questions will be set from the material that I'm going to put up. It's not going to be set from anything else. All right, I can't bring questions on something I didn't ask you about or anything that was not in the course. Does that answer your question, Mr. Culture?
Yes, it does, sir.
All right. Now, it would be useful too for me to get reminders because I'm working on 6 online classes this semester. So it's going to be challenging for everybody to stay abreast of everything. That's why these first couple of sessions is going to be important. Now, so each unit is going to be designed with the content, and I'm using a unit setup, not a week by week setup. I'm going to be doing it unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4. So it's not gonna give you a week by week layout, but there would be deadlines and dates attached to each unit based upon the course activity schedule that you're seeing here. So the expectation is that unit 1 is a simple unit. It should be able to, in 1 week's time, you should be able to handle that. The same thing with unit 3, or in this case, it's identified as unit 4. All right, measuring economic performance. So I'll put up the material, and that means in those 2 weeks, you should be able to deal with the information there, attempt your quizzes, and see what's going on. Now, I am not going to say to you that I can't change I can't reopen a quiz then. If students don't do well on a quiz, and that would be the majority of students, I can reopen the quiz and give people an additional attempt, that kind of stuff. If I find that maybe the material that I put out students didn't quite get it. Now, additionally, although I'm not doing a session on units 1 and unit 4, if students want a session, then they could request that they would like a session on, let's say they're okay with the introduction to economics, but they weren't comfortable with measuring economic performance and they ask for a session, then I can say, okay, we'll do an online session on the 28th of September and let's go through that material and that kind of stuff. So again, as I said, although I'm trying to hold this down to about 5 live sessions, because I know some of you all also have classes in other subjects on the same day, because there were some scheduling issues that went on in terms of the online environment and live classes. So there was a whole mix up with that thing going on there. So I'm hoping that again, I'm open to whether if students want additional online sessions to go through the material together, that might be something that you could look at. Does that sound like something that's feasible. And that's one of the reasons why I want to use the WhatsApp feature as well, because we could have a quick chat and say, all right, we're going to go online at such and such a time. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the Monday. It could be another day that I am free. Well, that's going to be difficult because I'm teaching every day except Friday and Sunday. But we could do some Sunday sessions if you want. I don't know if you all could deal with that. All right, so that's the way the session. So the total of quizzes that you're doing is going to amount to 30% of your final grade. So again, it's going to be a matter of, as you perform in each, so this is continuous assessment, as you perform your exams in each one of them, literally each quiz counts for about maybe 3 or 4 marks or 5 marks of the total 30. So the idea is to try and get, get as much marks up front. The other assessment is the individual assignment. Now that goes live immediately, meaning that once I put it up on the classroom, you can start work on this at one time. And that is this assignment here, which is the individual assignment that is evaluating for 20% of your final grade. Now, this is an individual research paper in which you are conducting your own research to answer these questions here, from questions 1 and 2, but various parts, okay? So some of this stuff we will not be covering in, well, I wouldn't say not be covering, but I will not be teaching them directly. So the idea is that you would go through the material on your own and write responses to the questions that are proposed in these questions, and you would submit them through the Turnitin. Everybody here is familiar with Turnitin, right?
No, sir.
Yep, everybody
Yes,
has.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Who's not familiar with Turnitin? Let's hear that.
I'm not.
I'm not either.
Who's I'm not? That's Sonia.
I'm not a Sonia. Yeah.
I'm not a Sonia. And second person.
I'm Nessa.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
That's Miss Bash.
Yeah.
Okay, so Turnitin is a system load that allows you to check to see whether or not you have. What it does is a similarity test. It checks your work against a database of work to make sure that you're not copying. Yeah, plagiarism.
Right.
So it's a plagiarism test.
Right.
And the requirement is such that you need to have a maximum of 15% similarity. Now, generally it's 20, but I'm sorry, 10. But for this class, I'm giving a little more variation. So you'd see that the citation asks for similarity rating of 15%, no more than 15%. That makes sense? So for those of you who are familiar with it, there will be a post, and I'm trying to build it in such a way that as you do your assignment, you could upload it and check it, and if the figures is too high, you could go in and fix and then resubmit and check again before you submit. So there'll be 2 places to submit the assignment. One is through the Turnitin for you to look for your similarity ratios, and the second would be to where you actually want to put your final document and submit. Now, the deadline for that was identified as on the schedule here as individual assignment. The deadline is the 11th of October. Now, looking at those questions, what I want to ask for you one time is, do you think that the 11th of October is enough time for you to tackle an assignment of that nature? So I'm giving the option to make changes to the course outline now, so that, and I will update it on the e-classroom, so that when I set the deadline for the submissions, I could set it with what we agreed to. So the 11th of October, I don't know if you're seeing my calendar, is 1, 2, 3. So today that's 1, 2, 3 is a Sunday, and all of my assignments will be due on a Sunday midnight. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And midnight on the system is actually 11:55. Don't ask me why. I can't get the 59. But the idea would be, do you think that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks is enough time for you all to go and do your independent research and submit this first assignment?
Can we get it till the 20th?
You mean the, well, if it's the 20th, I usually give it to the 20th. That means you're for the 18th or the 25th.
I think you should extend it because
Sorry.
some of us don't have one clue about economics.
I
And
know, that's why I'm asking you all. So you think the 25th might be better?
Yeah, the 18th or the 25th, probably, yeah.
All right, so I will go on the side of caution and say the 25th of October. All right, so I'm updating this one time on my copy, and as I said,
Yeah.
I'll reload the updated copy.
One question.
Yes.
that's the
Question before you
individual
update
research.
Sorry. All right, hold on. One at a
question
time.
before you update it.
Yes, sir.
How would that affect the rest of the semester? If you change that one deadline, how would that affect the rest of the semester in terms of submitting?
Well, there are 3 items for submission: 2 individual, 1 group, and the other one you can see it there. The second one is a journal that is November the 29th. So it's a month away. So I'm thinking that should be it should be enough time because you can work on more than one, and more importantly, even though the deadline is the 25th of October, you can in fact submit it earlier, get it out of the way. That makes sense? Or would you prefer to move it back to the 18th instead then? Really, it's about you managing your time and submissions. I will set up the blocks for you to be able to submit before the deadline, but again, it's up to you. I mean, one of the things I heard from the other people in the class was that because they're so unsure about this subject, because they have no background in it, they wanted more time rather than less to deal with. So I understand Mr. Culture's question. What impact is shifting deadlines we have?
I nothing to suggest moving it up because I will get cussed.
You'll get what? No. They won't swear at you, sir. I will be the only person doing any swearing. But no, again, nothing stopping you, Mr. From anybody for that matter, from submitting earlier. And because it's really about you managing your time and say, okay, I have this time, I'll get this project done and submit it and out of the way. It means that I would have to make sure that the Turnitin block for that assignment is working to allow you multiple inputs to be able to do a comparison, and the block so it's 2 different blocks: one to submit for comparison, which is the Turnitin block, and one to actually submit your final document. And I'm going to put all of them into one block rather than spread it all over the place, which is what I've seen in some other people's classrooms. They have submission points scattered throughout the different weeks. I'm going to set up one block for assignment submissions only. So all the submissions will go on there. The only thing that will move from unit to unit will be the quizzes. So the quizzes will move from unit to unit, but the assignment submissions will be in one block. I prefer that because to me it makes more sense to have one space to be doing assignment submissions rather than a whole set of different places, which could cause confusion. I don't know if you would agree with that. But I'm a bit of a linear thinker. So other people who might be like our musician friend here, she might be more able to think in that outside the box thing, whereas I might be more traditional. Maybe. Who knows? All right, so we can leave it at the 25th, but if you want to submit Mr. Culture before, that'll be fine.
Excuse me. Will you be accepting drafts to give feedback?
Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to submit it earlier was for me to go through the document and give you a chance to do a resubmission, which is one of the reasons why I was choosing initially the 11th. Wasn't it the 11th of October? So if you got in a draft there where you had done your comparisons, but yeah, I can have a look at some of your assignments beforehand. But then it means by the 25th, that's it. After that, I can't.
Sir, excuse.
Hi, who's that?
Abigail here. So, what about the 11th of October being the draft deadline, and then the 25th of October being the final project?
Final?
Yeah. Just asking.
We could do that.
So the 11th will be for the deadline, and we get back the assignment, get to do what changes we need to do, and then we submit on the 25th.
So how that works is this way. When you submit your draft, I will then have to set up a session with you one-to-one online to go through your assignment with you and point out where you do it. And that'll be a one-to-one session during the week. So we'd have to do that like during office hours or when I have free time and stuff from other classes.
Okay.
That makes sense? So
Yeah.
yes, I'm okay with you submitting a draft and I give you some feedback on it. I prefer to do it on a face-to-face basis rather than just typing up something and send it to you with comments. And if it is that the assignment is not bad and it's just minor fixes that are required, then I could do that. But because so many of you all are struggling with the well, one of the things I don't want to be struggling with is citation. All of you all are familiar with citation elements, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
APA citation should be across the board, I think. The IT guys, how are you all with citation? Sometimes it's not.
I'm super with citation.
You're super with that. Okay. APA, right?
Yeah. I use APA. Yeah.
Yeah, APA. Okay, cool. All right. What I'm a little worried, we have some first year students in the group, and they may not have done the citation class. That's the
Yes, sir, they gave us slips to do.
yeah, but you might be required to do citation before you actually get to citation in that class. Anyway, we will try and work with that and see what's going on.
Oh no, sir, that's what they taught us to do, how to cite in APA and how to cite in MLA and how to do it and exams and that and research papers and stuff, sir.
Great. So, but did everybody do Libs 130 yet? Besides the old people, the newer guys who are there. Well, I take it by the silence that everybody did it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Doesn't sound very convincing, but we'll see.
I did it a while back, but I can't remember.
Well, you'll have to remember now because you need to use it. But have you done any social work classes or psychosocial classes, sociology classes? You'd have had to do that for those things there. All right. The newspaper, article, journal. Now, most of you who do social work and sociology may have come across articles of that nature already or journal of that nature. Basically, in this case here, what you're looking at is finding a newspaper article and reviewing the article in the in relation to an economic concept. Now, the article cannot be more than 6 months old, and it can be local, regional, or international. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. But once you do once you choose the article, it has to be related to the concepts. Now, one of the things that I'm putting into this is that I'm asking you to get me to approve your article before you actually go and devote time to writing up your review or your journal. The reason for that is because this is a part of trying to take the course and make it application. Because we're doing things in class, fine, we're learning concept theories and whatnot. The idea would be for you guys to set up and be able to apply this in the real world. So that is where the articles thing is going to come up. So I would like to see you now. The way you can do it, you don't have to do a newspaper article. You can look at online articles and stuff like that of some reputable organizations. So and they can be international in scope as well as regional or local. A lot of the articles these days center around COVID-19 and the economic impact it's having. So there's a lot of that going on now because businesses are really suffering from reduced demand, and that's creating some problems. So in going through the questions, you'd realize it's always asking about what do you think the problems are going to be for the household, for the individual, for the country, and what can government or what should governments do about it, if anything at all. All right. So the idea simply is to try and get you all to apply your learning in the to the real world around you, and that is a critical element that we have to pay attention to. So that's the purpose of this particular article. Yes, sir.
When I did sociology last semester, the lecturer Rudy Paul,
yep,
he actually gave us a sample of what a journal would look like. You're gonna give us a sample of what a journal would look like?
I can post one. I can post one on the a sample on the online classroom. But really and truly, the article that you're looking at really, it's fairly straightforward. If you look at the questions, it starts with a summary of what the article is about. And then in the previous ones, we had asked for 2 economic concepts. I'm reducing the load a little bit. I'm asking for only 1 concept. And how is that concept related to the article? And how do you think the events in the article kind of thing? So yes, I can put up an example from a previous students or previous something. I'll doctor it up a bit so that you won't know whose it is. And probably
because I only ask him because I went through it last semester, but
yeah. But again, for me, it's more about you being able to take the concepts and see them at work in the world around us, because economics is not something that lives in a textbook. Economics is really everyday life. All right, and when you start to look at the introduction as to what is economics and that kind of stuff, you'd start to recognize that even your choice to come to class tonight is economic in nature or has an economic relationship with it. And you can relate it to almost everything that is going on has an economic slant to it. Because just to kind of get into the content, economics is the study of how we as individuals cope with scarcity and how that scarcity affects our decision making, how we make decisions about the scarce resources that we have. And the scarcest resource that we do have is not money, but time. And how we use our time is is an economic decision, because we have to measure how best to use the limited time that I have, which is one of the reasons why parents just get vexed with children when they assume that they're wasting time. Or teachers would say that as well. Teachers will get annoyed with you. Hey, you're not spending enough time doing the work and that kind of stuff. So time is a major element when it comes to that situation as well. All right?
All right. So what I was trying to get to is format, because there were a lot of people who didn't go through the format of a journal.
Well, I'm looking at it as a paper. So the questions here guide you as to how to respond. All right. So you start with answering each question. Each question guides you as to how to respond. Now you could number it or section it based upon each section, or you can just write it all as one continuous flow from one question into another. You'd notice that there's a minimum word limit of 1,000 words. So we're looking for you to do something substantial. But it also depends upon the nature of the article that you select. Or it could be that you've used a concept that allows you to do a lot of discussion. So it's really about your discussion. If you look at the questions, it's really about you making the link between the theory and the real world. And that connection is what we're trying to get you to do. So this is an application question. All right. So how you see the application is what we're interested in seeing, whether or not you're making the connection between the classroom theoretical positioning of their concepts in the world around us from a day-to-day basis. All right. And we'd see that question 7 asks you, what measures would you propose to deal with the issue or problem being discussed? So in terms of how to write up the article, it's just basically a paper. What you're going to have to do is to either leave a link in the thing, or copy the article into the assignment, so that if it's an online article, then a link would be suffice. If it's like you were reading a newspaper and found an article, then you'd have to scan an image of it in. So you'd have to submit that with it as well, because I'd need to see the article as well. But as I said before, I'd like to see the articles before you even attempt them, because I want to make sure that you're not choosing something that might be a little bit out of your depth, and outside the layout of this particular course. All right, that makes sense?
Okay, so just to recap, please, the first assignment would just be to answer the questions, question 1, A to D, based on whatever research that we do, yes?
Yes, question 1 and 2. There are 2 questions that make up that assignment. And it's
I didn't get question 2. All right, I'll have to look. All right, okay, yes, 1 and 2. All right, so answering these questions, that's the assignment based on whatever research we do, based on the questions, yeah?
Yes.
The second assignment will be based strictly on whatever article that is vetted by you, yes?
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Right. So far, so good. And the third assignment is the group work. So that's what we need to do some work with here now. So first off, what the group analysis is, or the group work centers around, is looking at a set of questions. All right, let me go back to that document and get to the group assignment, because this is probably going to be the one that is going to create the most amount of challenges. So the unit quizzes, as I said, there is basically going to be 10 items, 10 multiple choice questions. You have 2 attempts at least. If I increase it, it's because maybe it is and about 20 minutes. That's roughly 2 minutes per question. Most of you all will finish them well before 20 minutes. All right. But I don't want you panicking, because one of the things about this course is not meant to be one to stress you out. It's one that you should, get a little taxing, and you'd have to learn something new. But more importantly, you will be required to bring to bear the information that you're getting with it into your, everyday thinking. All right. Okay, so when it comes to the group presentation, the entire group project, which is made up of two aspects, the project itself and the presentation, is a final 30% activity. And basically, any of you all read this document?
Yeah.
All right, so we have to select countries, and once you select the country, as a group, you're going to evaluate the country based upon these questions here. And included with that would be an introduction to the country itself. So this here is, so it's supposed to be bold. All right. This here is are the questions that we decided that we wanted to.
Can I interrupt you, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Collect 5 years of data on a country.
Yep. The last 5 years available. Yes. Your specific data. So it's data on inflation, unemployment, national income, and if you look lower down, imports and exports. That information is accessible at the World Development Bank website. You can get it from the IMF. Some of the countries have their own data sources. But again, in Unit 2, I'll be dealing with some of those issues when we're looking at measuring economic performance, because what I'm asking you to do is to look at the performance of each country by looking at their economic measuring. So again, this is something new, but it's actually the second unit that we're going to be looking at, so that I'll do an overview of what is national income and what it tries to measure and that kind of stuff. What is unemployment? What is inflation? What is growth and development? That kind of stuff. We'll look at some import and export figures. The figures are designed for you to be able to analyze the country. Now, I know it sounds intimidating, but it's not. It really is about taking data already gathered. So you're not going to be gathering this information on your own. This information is already gathered. Now, you may not get information for 2019 for some of the countries because it may not be yet available, or at least complete data may not be available. All right. So the idea would be to move into groups, and in the groups, choose a country that you want to investigate, and then make a decision of how to move forward from there. So what comes up now really is going to be, and then it's broken into two parts. You have the written project, which is 20%, all right? And then you have the oral presentation. So what you're doing is when you write that report up now of the country analysis, you develop from that a 20-minute presentation that is carded for the last teaching week. There it is. The presentation, I have it set up for the 14th of December. It really should be the not the 14th, no? It's supposed to be.
Please don't say Christmas Day.
The week before. No.
But how are we supposed to do it?
Well, again, the same way, there are two options. We can get you to record a presentation and submit it online, but I've found that the best way to do it is to actually give over control on the meeting site and let you all submit, do your presentations live. it's pretty much like how you're doing now. Because right now, what I can do is I
Okay.
can give over to you the ability to control the presenting tools and stuff like that, and your group takes charge and that kind of stuff. That makes sense?
Yeah, okay, did it already.
Yeah, yeah.
So would everybody in the group have to present and say something, or can we just appoint one person to do that?
No, everybody has to participate.
Okay.
Because one of the problems we have with online classes is that students have a tendency to try and hide. They can hide. All right. So I'm seeing Sonia leaning on the wall and that kind of thing. All right. I want to come back to the group stuff because I want to put us back into the group, but I want to give you all a break to take a stretch. Does that be okay? I'll leave the classroom running, but you can walk away from your desktop at this point in time and take a stretch. I need to take a stretch as well. Let's say about 10 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah. Bathroom breaks and whatnot. Everybody's okay with that? I'll see the same 22 people back on when I come back to my desk.
No problem, sir.
All right, so let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll start to work with the group stuff and start to put you all into groups. Let's put it that way. All right. Maybe by then there's a guy called Marcus Steele. He's running a bit late because he told me he had to. He's not gonna be back until about 7 o'clock. So maybe by that time he should be able to log in. All right. Okay, guys. See you in about 10 minutes. Okay. Right, is everybody back?
I'm here, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm back, thank you.
All right, good. Just looking at seen some messages there. Yes, everybody's back. Okay, great. All right. Can't tell you how good that break was. All right, so what we have to look at now is grouping you guys in into groups of around five per. Now, the idea would be, if we look at the class list here, how do you all want to get grouped? Let me give you all some options with that. How do you perceive yourselves being adequately, or do you want to leave it to me to create the groups on the in the e-classroom, and you all start to work together in that grouping? Now the problem is we have a couple of people that didn't make it tonight, so there is the chance that the either well, I'm hoping that everybody ends up, because we still have a drop going on. Yes.
So for me, I'm not 100% sure. I will be able to do the work and stuff for the class required, but some of these sessions I might miss because it seems I'm getting clashes with classes right now.
Yeah,
I have a class running right now, and I just talked to the teacher, and she said that I should talk to you about it because it's running at the same exact time of this class.
What class is that?
Internet technology.
That's from IT.
Yeah.
All right. The only issue would be really is to looking at the date of the presentation. If that, because you can still interact with the material on your own, and we could chat off the class time.
Yeah, like I'll be able to attend some of the classes, but some of the classes it seems that I have to attend, for the other
Yeah,
class.
which is one of the reasons why I'm not having sessions every week. Is the teacher having sessions every week? Your IT teacher.
Yeah.
Okay. We were discouraged actually from doing sessions every week because of the same issue of students clashing and trying to put what is called asynchronous material on the website, on the e-classroom, for you to interact with at your own pace. So attendance to the live sessions is not mandatory. But what I will do as I'm recording the session, I will load the recording up, so that if you do miss a session, then you can spend some time and go through the recording. So that should not be too much of a difficulty. But as I said before, on the day that we have presentations, that'll be the critical day for you, for your group, if you understand what I mean. But it will also mean that that's something I think you can work out. If I leave the date as it is right now, I have it set up for the 14th of December. Now, technically, the school we're supposed to stop teaching on the 13th of December. So the 14th is actually during technically the exam period. So, but I don't think anybody is going with live exams at all. It's all going to be continuous assessment all the way through. Anybody in other classes having any live exams where you have to come in and do an examination?
So far, I don't know.
So far for the other classes that you may have been in or that you're aware of? I think generally across the board we are looking at minimizing any sort of face-to-face contact at all, and going with online sessions all the time. That's why because normally we would have done a midterm exam for that 30%, but I split that exam into different quizzes, which to me makes better sense in any case, because I'm testing out as soon as you do a unit. I'm testing out that unit, and that way you could go. Some units would run for 2 weeks, and then the test will come up. Some is 1 week, that kind of stuff. So it's really about you pacing yourself through the thing. So I don't think your attendance every session is mandatory. At least I wouldn't make it mandatory, unless you have to present. And right now we have one presentation. So question, how do you want me to deal with the groupings? Suggestions. I don't want to just take that away from you, because there's some stuff that you all need to do as well in your groups.
I'll prefer you just put us in groups.
Now the way
the people who attended this first class first and foremost.
Yeah, I'll have to group the first set of people and then probably leave some spaces. So the size of the group is 5. So what I might do is from what I'm seeing, we have about 4 people absent or 3 people absent from the list. And what I can do is set up some groups at 4, and hopefully when those people become available, they will come to the class and they will join the group. So I can do it on the e-classroom. I can group you all on e-classroom and set you all up into groups there, so that you would know who you are in your groups, and I'll make the groups visible so that you'd see what's going on. Now, the first thing that you have to choose as a group is the country that you all want to do some analysis about. Now, I'm not going to put too much restrictions on which countries you can and cannot do. But what I would suggest is that you look as a group at a country that gives you fairly easy access to find information. So a country like Vietnam, for example, might be problematic to get data. So it's not, or for that matter, Haiti, if you're looking at regionally. My advice to you is to choose a country that you think you'll be interested to learn more about as a group. So again, it would mean that as a group, you all might need to meet outside of the classroom to make those decisions. But I would say by the 5th week of, not even the 5th, because this semester is not 15 weeks. Just to let you know, it's 13 weeks. So you'd see everything's a bit crunched in this time around. Usually we go 15 weeks, but because we had to delay the start of the semester from the 2nd of September, and to allow for, and then we may still have more students coming in, because new students are supposed to come in on the 28th. We might still have 1 or 2 stragglers coming in who are brand new, but hopefully not in this course, because this course is not designed for a first-year student. At least a first-year, first semester student. You need to have done some stuff before. So I will put you all into groups, and then you all would need to indicate to me what country you all come to a decision to do the research on. My guidelines to you would be to choose from a group perspective, choose a country that has relatively easy access to finding all the information that you need to do about the thing. Because if you look at the questions that are asked from the assignment, let's go to that. And as I said, in this document, I put in rubrics and everything for all the assignments and everything. So that way you'll understand what I'm looking for and how the marking is taking place. All right. So if you look at the questions, we start with what type of economic system does the country have, and explain some of the benefits this system provides for the country, as well as some of its drawbacks. Now, there is a general section on this in terms of generally what are the benefits and advantages and disadvantages of each economic system. But what we're looking for here is you to apply it now to the analysis of that particular country. So let's say you look at China. What type of economic system do they run, and how does it benefit them, and what are some of the drawbacks that are experienced in that country? Dominant types of firms, dominant types of market structures, sorry, and dominant types of firms. Those two questions are related. Finding out information about that is going to be based upon you understanding what are firms and what are market structures. So those two questions kind of they are not they are interrelated. So you'd have to pay attention to that aspect as well. The 5 years data. Now this is the one that you can actually test to make sure that you can find this information. So when you look at the country, immediately look at the ability of collecting the data in terms of inflation or employment, national income, and the country's imports and exports. Because if you can't find that data, then it doesn't make sense doing that information, or doing that country, I should say. You also need to look at what are their trade restrictions, and that will generally come in their trade documentation, and their exchange rate system. What type of exchange rate system that they utilize. So all the information should be, look at the kind of questions that are being asked and apply it to just doing quick Google searches to see, all right, how accessible is this data about these countries. And then when you're trying to deal with the specifics of the questions, then maybe what we can also do is set up some group meetings. So you and I can meet as smaller groups on different days besides class days, and it could be during the daytime. Well, daytime is not too good for me because I tend to work more at night because all my classes are at night, and I tend to be more up and I rest during the daytime to be able to get things done and see about other things at home and whatnot. Any questions about this so far?
No, we're okay.
All right. So the first thing everybody has to do is to choose a country. So I'll go tonight and I'll set you all into groups of 5. You may find yourself with somebody who has not yet checked into class, but I'll try to limit that to a maximum of 1 per group. So you might find yourself with 4 people who are here plus 1 person who didn't turn up yet. So we'll see how that works out. That makes sense, guys?
Yes,
yeah?
sir.
All right. So coming back to what Mr. Culture was asking about, how do we do the presentation? The presentation is simply going to be where you all will take your report that you wrote, the project that you wrote, and extract from it the salient points to set up a 20 to 25 minute presentation with PowerPoints and that kind of stuff that can allow you to. All right, battery went out and came back in. Right, so which will allow you to present the information in an enjoyable manner. I mean, the idea is, guys, teach us about the country that you're presenting on, which is one of the reasons why you'd have to do an introduction where you are doing this section here, where you're going to be doing an overall introduction into the country. I mean, you can use video footage, you can use photographs, of course, to show the things that you're talking about and illustrations. Again, when you're using things that is not yours, you have to cite the sources, and that is why you have a citation requirement for the presentation as well. You would need to submit to me the PowerPoint that you would have compiled for it. So there are two documents that you're submitting, the project itself and the PowerPoint. And I'll set up the submission blocks for them as well. So you'd see again, there's a citation requirement. Now, I will be grading your presentation as you do it live. So I will be scoring you immediately. So that will give me an idea, because generally when you do well in the presentation, and again, somebody had already asked, does everybody have to present? Yes, everybody has to present. That's because I don't want anybody hiding in the group, because it puts enormous strain on a group when one person or a couple of people don't, pull their weight, which is also why we're using peer evaluation. So at the end, when you finish your presentation, you will also take this form here and fill it out. You'll copy it from this document and fill it out and submit it into the group peer evaluation submit. Now, this is not to grade, but it is for me to be able to look at what was the participation levels of each of the individuals. So you'd put the person's name in this block here. All right. Now you can't score yourself. That wouldn't be fair. So you put the other 4 members of your group in here, and then you start to rate them from 0 to 4 on each of these questions or statements here. So 1, participated in the creation of the project plan. So did they do that? Was it successful? Then, oh yeah, they did that. Then I give them a 4 for that. Okay. So you go through, there are 25 questions, and it's a score out of 100. Yes. Yes, hello? Hi, somebody asked a question? Okay, nope. All right, so once you do the scoring, you could total it out of 100 to see what they got, and then you submit that to me. Now, what happens would be that I'm looking for bands. So if everybody scored 90 and above and that kind of stuff, then I don't think I need to punish anybody punitively with this. But what this would do is, based upon the score that each individual shows up here, it would indicate whether or not students actively participated in the group activity. And what would then happen is, let's say I grade your assignment and you get 92% for the project. All right. Now, that 92% for the project would mean that I have everybody should get 92%, correct? But if I'm seeing that somebody's effort was less, let's say they got 60% in their peer evaluation, then that means that that person, and it'll be from all the members, so it's consistently from all the members of the group, said that this one member or these 2 members did not contribute effectively to the group project, then what's going to happen is that means that that person cannot share, they can't get the 92%. They can only get a smaller proportion of that because it'll be reflective of their effort in it. Now, you're not using this form to punish people, but simply to report back on how well they contributed to the group effort, the group project. And that's an important element that I want to get, because I don't want people feeling as if other people are taking advantage of that. That makes sense? How many of you all used the peer evaluation format before?
I have.
I did, sir.
That's Miss Myers?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
That was Abigail? didn't quite make out what Abigail was saying. All right, so if you've used it before, then that's fine. There's no problem with that. But the idea is the score will change or reflect the person's contribution in it. And I think it's a fairer reflection. Again, it's peer evaluation, meaning your peers are evaluating your contribution. So hopefully you will make your contributions according to your capacity, and make every attempt to be able to to make sure you'll get a successful presentation and project completed. So again, this is work that has to start from the beginning. So you'll be tracking the behavior of individuals all the way through the course. So that's important because it's going to indicate how well you were able to work as a team. All right, so I have 19 people in class right now. So 19, 20. I'm counting as two because for some reason this is counting me presenting and my image as two people. I know how wide, but I didn't think I was that wide. All right. Any questions on this?
No.
Everything's clear. So I will set you all into groups, and when I set you into the groups, I will set you all will get started to meet with each other, and I would suggest that you probably set up your own little subgroups, WhatsApp or whatever you want to communicate, and then begin the process of setting up. Obviously, you're going to have to set up a planning schedule of writing your documents up, making the selection of the country. I would like to approve the country as well, so you need to liaise with me in relation to it as well, because I don't want you all to choose a country that turns out to be problematic in the future. And you would find that from 2020 might be difficult to get information about the countries. I didn't ask you all to evaluate the impact of COVID-19 on the countries, but you can add that. And in fact, I better update that one time. In the instructions here, I can ask you in the introduction here to include a couple of paragraphs of the impact of COVID-19 on their. But when you start to look at that data, depending upon it, you can see you might be able to start to spot the impact of the COVID-19 on their inflation, unemployment, and so on, once the data is available, even their imports and exports, that kind of stuff. So we'll see how it goes. All right. So that is the last element that we're looking at there in terms of the evaluations. And of course, the group presentation rubric is here, and the project itself is here as well for your information, so you'd be able to understand how I'm marking. Do you all find this stuff useful, or just really a pain in the butt? Some people can let me know.
It helps. It does help.
It does. Okay. Yeah. So as long as it's helpful. All right. Okay. So with regards to the course outline, so this is. Are you seeing the course outline now?
Yeah.
Deborah, you might be able to answer me quickly. All right. Okay. So what you'd recognize is that after you get past these opening pages, you'd start to see the course content.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying to say to you all. This is what gives the information that you're going to be evaluated on. I cannot evaluate you on anything but what exists in here. Now, there are readings attached to this, and I'm just going to bring up another point that I want to take. but I'm not allowed to distribute this book anymore because we no longer have copyright freedom to do so. So I did set up, I did supply you guys, and let me see if I can load that for you. Oh, where is it? I put a textbook on the
But two.
Yeah, I put a macro. I put a macro and a micro.
Yeah.
Yeah, because but you'd find that the both of them kind of repeat.
Okay.
Some of the chapters, but they're from the same organization.
Yeah.
Called OpenStax. I was able to get them, and this has what is known as open source. It's an open source text. So the one on microeconomics and macroeconomics, they seem to copy each other a little bit. So you have the information, and again, this textbook can be utilized to help you answer your question. What I liked about this textbook is that there are links built into the text that you could actually click on, and it'll take you to articles and videos and that kind of stuff, as well as part of its teaching methodology. Okay. In fact, in order to build some of your presentations, I will be relying on this textbook as well, in relation to presenting content to make sure. That's why so this is what I talk about. It's called the Commons. It's a type of copyright system that allows for free use by any individual. I had to register with them to be able to get these textbooks available, and I have to share them with other economics lecturers, so we're using the same textbook across the board. So again, I used to use that, make people buy the Sloman, but the problem with the Sloman is it's very expensive, and when I had live classes, I would send soft copies of the Sloman to people to use and stuff. Technically, I could still do it, but I'd have to do it on not on the I can't do it on a live class. Let's put it that way. And I'm recording myself here, so I could be incriminated. So you'd see all these little links here that they have that they can give you to look at the various aspects. Now, I know it's a fair amount of reading, and that comes with the territory. But I also have a host of YouTube videos that I'll be putting into the classroom links for you to look at them. So I know some people don't like to read. Other people would prefer to look at something. They're more visual oriented and that kind of stuff. So again, I'm trying to build it in such a way that the classroom itself is relatively user friendly. So that textbook has the information in it that you would need to access to be able to evaluate your
country.
No, to get the information to write your answers. See this link here, for example. This is an interesting link to human rights freedom. So it starts us make economies. So this one is talking about the various types of economy. So if you click on the link, it will take you to a website that it's called the Human Freedom Index, that shows you how free countries are. All right, in terms of their freedom index. These are interesting because they update all the time. All right, so those are things that I want you to do. So again, this is the macroeconomics version, and you'd see the same types of things in it. All right, so let me just go back to the textbook. The only thing I don't like is it closes the textbooks and takes you to the link, which I don't like the way it behaves. That's the only drawback I would say. But this is your primary text. But if you have your own little textbooks at home, you can use that. But again, in being able to do your research, you should not only depend only on this textbook, but other sources of data as well. So, and of course, there are links. I think you can link. Let's say I want to do. I want to go to this. It'll do an automatic link. Just click. So there are hyperlinks throughout the textbook for you to get quickly from one chapter to the next. You don't have to go scrolling all the way through. All right. Okay, so that's the textbook. The course outline, as I said, the only difference is going to be that I'll have to update, and I'll do this on the e-classroom. I'll put in the link or the chapters related to the course content for Unit 1 and so on. So your first unit really deals with this area here. So I'm working on the PowerPoint presentations for this, and I will link the videos and so on for this content here. Then I will create a test, and again I said it's gonna. So how the test works? This is another element that we need to talk about. The test works in a randomized manner. I'll put in about 15 to 20 multiple choice questions, all from the same content, and it would randomize a selection of any 10 questions from that set. So what you would have is that when you do your first go round, the content being tested is the same, but the how the question is asked will be randomized. So you may not necessarily get the same questions you had before, but you'll get a combination of 10 questions that will be based on the same thing. So if you do 2 attempts, you may, so usually what I do is the bank has 15 and you're drawing 10 out of it. So there's a possibility that you can get a total of 5 new questions coming up, but it'll be similar questions to what was before. So it's a randomized setup. So that kind of limits copying and that collaboration and that kind of stuff. All right. So that's Unit 1. Now you see here it goes to Unit 2, demand and supply, but Unit 2 in the second unit online will be this unit here, measuring economic activity. All right, and I'm going to include in measuring economic performance information about inflation, unemployment, and growth and development. So some of the information from a different area, and then some trade figures will come up there in terms of this area. So again, the content that is to be examined and evaluated will come from this document. So this is my contract to you in terms of what is to be done in the classroom, as opposed to just doing willy-nilly any and everything. So the combination of documents that you have in the e-classroom, and maybe I can navigate to that for you. I was actually in the classroom before. So this is your classroom. I need to log back in because I've been out of it for a while. So these are you guys here. One of the things you can do, people, is upload a recent photo of yourself. I see Mikkel has a clown face. The idea is to put up a picture of yourself so that we'll be able to see who you are, kind of thing. So you'd see my photo up. Can you all see the classroom page?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So if I go back to the main page, all right, so I've been out for a while. So log back in. Right. So far, you're only going to see this information here, the 2 textbooks, the course policies, and the course outline. So for now, you're not going to see this stuff here. So if I change my view from teacher to student, then I'm going to say exactly what you would be seeing. All these things would say topic is not available. And that's because I don't want you getting paranoid yet. All right. So the next block that's going to come up will be the block for the submission block. So this is what the classroom is going to look like. Of course, you know, you're free to edit how your page looks. You're all aware of that, right? So yeah, you can click down and change the of your own thing. You can have your calendar up and that kind of stuff. I like a clean page. I don't know about you, but there's enough going on here to give students enough to deal with. Okay, so in terms of so if I go to oh crap, I just left my class. So these are all the other classes that I have to deal with. All right, so this is your own here. Okay, so if I switch my role back to teacher, I should see some more elements coming up. Course editing and stuff like that. This is stuff you all won't see. I go to users and I look at the enroll users. That should bring me to you guys here. And it's in this place here I can start to put you all into groups and whatnot. As I said, sure. So there's supposed to be 25 students and one teacher. So I will group you all later this evening, and you should be able to log in and see your groups. So see, a good few people have come in already. I see Vijay hasn't come in yet. Springer, Jaden, you still here online with us?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you've never gone to the e-classroom yet? Please try.
Yeah, I've been on the e-classroom. I just had to set the picture and stuff.
No, I mean this class. You haven't been to this class yet.
Oh, no, sir.
All right, because you could have gotten the Here, now click here. What's that about? Oh, somebody sent a chat. You're heading there now. Okay. All right, boss. Oh, what I found too that helps with the Google Meet is to actually go into the Google Meet in incognito. This is especially if you have other email addresses that you use from Gmail. If you go incognito, it can't tell that you are using that profile, because I understand that the Google Meet conflicts. There are two separate types of accounts that work in the Google Meet as well. It works on the other side as well, but you just have to log into your student Gmail account to be able to get that done. All right, so I think I've prattled on enough. It's coming up on 7:30, and I don't want to keep you on much longer. Are there any burning issues that you all want to discuss, ask questions about now at this point in time? So if you mind, I'll stop sharing so that I can see you, or let me hold on to sharing for now. Is there anything people want to ask about or get clarification on at this point in time?
Not at this point in time.
All right, Deborah, that's you. Anybody else?
One question, sir.
Who's that? Karina?
Yeah, I'm saying on the schedule we have no online class next week and the week after. Is it that you would upload? I'm not too familiar with e-classroom. Is it that you would upload the work there and we have to go?
Yes. So I will be uploading PowerPoints and other stimulus, the readings and stuff like that, for you to be able to go on, interact with the information, and then attempt the quiz for it.
Right. So next week is the official Unit 1 starting.
Well, I'll try to put it in this week to facilitate people getting a jump start on things, because I don't want to wait too long. So I'm hoping that I'll finish with some of the presentations and start to upload links to the videos and the content. But one of the things I want you to pay attention to is always try to make sure that you link the unit outcome, and you'd see me do that in the PowerPoint presentation. You'd see me linking the unit outcomes to the presentations that I'm trying to do, because textbooks will not necessarily write themselves specifically for the course content. So you'd have to do an extraction of what parts of a textbook will match that element. So my PowerPoint presentations, or presentations in general, will try to point towards trying to find or present all the necessary information for the unit. Once you interact with it, I'm generally saying, you take, I'll give you all about a week, then you try and attempt the quiz and that kind of stuff. And the quiz will immediately start to tell you how well you've understood the work. All right, Karina, that makes sense to you?
Yeah, the quiz that will be uploaded, right? Is it the one? I did a quiz for another course. Is it the one that would correct your answer right after you complete it?
Yes. So the quiz will, all right, so if you could see this, let me just go back to my class last semester so I could demonstrate for you guys. Well, it's not your course, but I think it's this one. Yeah, this is, all right, so this is an example of how the classes look. These are the resources here, textbooks. I put up a dictionary in this one. Then this was the assignment submission portal. This is what I was saying. So you have one space to go and upload your stuff. Then I started with different units. Now remember, the last semester, we transferred from being face-to-face, and this was one of those questions. So this is the quiz here. So you have, this is the PowerPoint with the material. This is a link to What is Economics, which was a video that online video that they could have looked at from YouTube. And then we went to the quiz. So you click on the quiz, and well, the quiz is now closed. So it should indicate that the quiz is closed. All right.
They can open it, you know.
I'm trying to, but the problem here is that because this is a past semester, the quiz may not work. You follow? So all I'm getting right now is the reports of students who did the quiz. If I could show you. So right now, this is just showing the reports of the results, not the quiz itself. Yeah, remember, quizzes are time sensitive because they have a time element on it. They only remain active. Let's try this review and see if that brings up the questions. All right, so this is what it'll look like. So these are the 10 questions here, and it asks the questions. This is one I had done to test the quiz. So I kind of purposely just raced through it to try and make sure that the elements were working. It'll suck if I did this and only got 3 out of 10, right? All right. So this is what the question will look like. No, I failed this. I failed this attempt. All right. And what it will do, it'll just indicate to you in the first instance if it's right or wrong, but it will not tell you what was the correct answer. I have it set that way. During the time frame that the quiz is open, it will only indicate to you if you got it right or wrong, but it will not give you the correct answer. That's because I don't want you memorizing what they write down and then coming back on to do it a second time to get it right. You understand?
Excuse sir, but would you use you'll just use the one that you got the highest mark in, right?
Correct. And the objective there would be to give you a chance to improve your grade. All right. So there were people who actually got quite great 90s, and which meant that you had to consistently. Now it means that if you are going to get as much of the 30% as possible, it means you have to consistently be getting 100% or all right in the quizzes. You understand? But it means that it shows that you really understood the work. So for people who have done economics before, they have a bit of an advantage because they would have been familiar with the content before. But them aside, the idea is that you should, go through the material and then review it. Okay? That makes sense? So this is what the quiz will look like. Of course, you wouldn't have all the response information here. You'll just see right or wrong. So you'd see an X or something like that. That helps you a little bit, Karina, and other people.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions you want to ask? Anything else you want clarified?
Sir, I just a little confused about this Google Meet, right? So at first, I realized it's like a code or something you're supposed to put on, but I see like when emails and everything, nothing did come up. So just to clarify for next time and thing, on how that works.
Well, what I will do
I'm
is
not familiar with it.
I'll send you a meeting invitation,
Mhm.
and how can I show that to you? Um, all right. So when I sent the meeting invitation, it came in a mail, piece of mail like this, correct? You all received this, something that looked like this. This is for my Wednesday's class. And
Yes, sir.
in it, there's this
Yes.
link. This link is what you're supposed to click on to take you to Google Meet. Once you click on that, it'll take you directly to the class because you are directly invited to this class or to this session.
Oh, okay.
All right?
But for every class, it would be the same link, or the links would
No,
continue. Oh, it
not
would
with
continue.
Google Meet. Google
Okay.
Meet is slightly different. Zoom has the same. That's what one of the dangers is with Zoom and WebEx and the other meeting
Yeah.
tools. It generates the same code over and over for the same meeting. That's why people can they can break into your meetings. Google Meet generates brand new codes each time. So I would have to send you a new link each time that it happens.
Oh,
So
okay.
one of the things that happens is if I go, all right, let me stop that one. I go back here and I go to my course calendar, you would see I have all of my meetings set up on my calendar. So once I click on this, I have the meeting. I will just join the meeting from where, but I'm setting it up, and I'm copying this link here and sending it to everybody via email, and that way they would be in the same classroom all the time. Make sense?
Yeah.
So we need to use the link from your student email, because in order to get to your student email, you would have had to have you'd have had to log into the account, and then once you log into the account, then you'd have ended up going into the class. All right, so it should work smoothly there. If you're having problems, I will set up the the WhatsApp chat, and that way I can send the link there too. I can send it in WhatsApp, and I have I have WhatsApp on my so who's this? This
Then
who?
me.
That's you. So I sent you the link here. I could also send
Oh
a link
yeah,
to
yeah.
the class via this. So for those of you who may be joining the class with your phone, you could use this as well. You understand? But you'd still have to log in to your Gmail account that it's related to. So that's the way it works. So the idea with it is that the code will change each time a new meeting is called because it is trying to improve the security for the meeting to avoid people just jumping in your meeting and doing what they want. That makes sense?
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right. All right. Any other questions or queries? All right. So I'm going to stop sharing now, unless people want to see, keep on macro in my business. All right. There we go. All right. Anybody else wants to ask any questions? All right, we passed 7:30. I promised that we'd end about 7:30 or so. All right, so if there are no more questions, anything that people want to clarify, speak now, or you could WhatsApp me later on or message me later on. All right. Okay, so we'll call it Jorge for the evening, and I will see you all online during the week. And again, as I said, if you want to meet with us, kind of go through material. And if things go awry, if things go wrong, we have the ability to communicate quickly with each other and do fixes. All right. So I'm going to stop the recording process now. I think. Right. So stop recording.